Hi, as promised as yesterday, today we're going to be talking about Mr. Greeg. Oh my. Greeg. That's a new one. That's funny. Mr. Big Green himself, Piccolo, the son of the former King Demon Piccolo, or Demon King Piccolo. I guess either way could work. But interestingly, oh, is it? Okay, I think that's pretty good. Got the microphone at a good place. So I've got a bit of a weird story with Piccolo. Very weird story. I didn't like him at first. I thought he was okay. I thought he was a little cool, that he had decent moves, had different moves than Goku. And didn't really think much of him at the time, because it's like when you're watching Dragon Ball for the first time, you're not watching it to watch the Namekians. You're watching it to watch the Saiyans. Now, mind you, this is before I've really had an idea of a grasp on how story works, how characters work, how all this works, and I'm still learning more and more about stories and characters to this day. And what's interesting to me is that the more I look at Piccolo, the more and more I begin to really enjoy his character. And unfortunately see how he was just left out in the cold a little bit, I guess. And I don't think it's necessarily Toriyama's fault to a degree, because it was some of his writing, it was some of his story that kind of put him into that position. And especially when it came to the Cell Saga is where he kind of fell off. And then kind of became a background character in the Buu Saga. Then became somewhat still of a background character, side character in the movies that came out, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. Man, just thinking about it. And then eventually in the super anime and the manga, he kind of got a little bit more involved here and there. He showed up a little bit more in there, and then especially when the the Tournament of Power came out, he was involved. He got some shine here and there, but kind of got thrown out at the end, which I don't. And that's when I kind of started liking Piccolo more and more, and the Saiyans less and less. Don't get me wrong, I like the Saiyans. I do. But when it comes to the Namekians, I kind of enjoy their power set a little bit more, and their species a little bit more, because with Saiyans, it's literally just humans with and upgraded abilities. With a Namekian, you make it seem like he's alien. He's got purple blood. He's got, well, in other scenes he's just got red blood, but he's also different. His body shape is different. His skin's different. He feels otherworldly. While a Saiyan, if you think about it, and don't get mad at me when I say this, if you think about it, and literally this is what Saiyans are, they're Kryptonians. But with Ki. But with turning into a giant ape. They're literally just Kryptonians if you think about it. Remove the Ki, remove the firing of like the big, attacks, energy wave attacks, and the big destroying explosions, keep the flying. Think about it. Super strength, flight from another planet. Especially with Goku, it's literally just Superman's story, but with martial arts. Think about that. In either the original telling of Bardock's story or the telling in the Broly movie, it is literally just Superman. While you got this really cool, interesting character who is related to a previous character of the past, who eventually, of course, butts heads with the main character as Piccolo Jr., as he was called then, to eventually working together to fight off an alien invasion, to eventually going back to his home planet, finding out who he was. I'm just saying, his story is a little bit more nuanced than Goku's, because we've seen Goku's before. We've seen that before. I argue we haven't seen Vegeta's. He is pretty much the start of that archetype, I'd argue. Although there has been one other character, I remember his name. He's based off of, it's not Dory Funk. What was his name? Terry Funk in Kinnikuman. He's kind of that rival, jerky character, but that's where they got a lot of the tropes from. But I would say the edgy, archetypical, loves violence, has arrogance and pride archetype was started by Vegeta, in which we were able to get the character of Shadow the Hedgehog from. Arguably, I would arguably say there's some differences, of course, origins-wise, but anyway, we're getting into semantics at this point. I feel like with Piccolo's story, there's a lot more room for originality, a lot more room for things that he can do, and that's why he has all those different techniques and special techniques and stuff, because like you can only really do so much with Goku, especially with the forms in the transformations. Arguably, I'll say this much, it's kind of the same problem with the Namekians, until we found out that they can technically have a transformation through the Dragon Balls. But it's like, with the Saiyans, and I'm not saying I dislike the Saiyans, and I'm not saying the Namekians are better than Saiyans or stronger than Saiyans. Oh, dear Lord, no. Oh, dear Lord, no. Oh, dear Lord, no, I'm not saying that. Power levels are bullcrap. We all know that. We know they're bullcrap. We get it. Heard it all before. I'm saying I enjoy what Piccolo brings more than the Saiyans do. I appreciate what the Saiyans are. They introduced me to what Dragon Ball is, but the specifics of Dragon Ball were brought in through Piccolo. Seriously, I mean, the Namekian culture is cooler, pardon the pun, than, what is it? Is cooler than Saiyan culture, in my opinion. There's a lot more there. The society is interesting, the different types of Namekians. There's the dragon Namekians, there's the warrior Namekians. And if you find out what they do, I mean, it's very interesting. There's no female species of Namekian. They reproduce asexually. They only need water. What's a Saiyan? Just a hyped up human being, if you think about it, who turns into a giant ape. Personally, for me, I find that a little bit more interesting. Mind you, this is also the same guy who's a huge Vegeta fan, who enjoys a lot more techniques and stuff from him than Goku. I like Goku. The Kamehameha is absolutely iconic. It's amazing. However, when it comes to Piccolo, he is more interesting than a Saiyan. He has a lot more nuance than a Saiyan, arguably. Now, will I acknowledge that he's been ignored for a while? Yes. Will I acknowledge that he's been given a lot now? Yes. Will I acknowledge that it's kind of out of left field he gets a transformation? Well, yeah. Honestly, it is. I'm happy that he has one. He's been needing it for who knows how long, over 20 years now, since like the Boo Saga, or 10 years now from Boo. I think it's 20. 20? No, it's like almost 30. Almost 30 years now, and then he's needed something. And so has Gohan, who's needed it for maybe even the same amount of years. But the full-blooded Saiyans have gotten a Super Saiyan bargain sale, as Vegeta said in the Buu Saga. What the frick is this about? I'm not going to sit here and complain about the different colors of Super Saiyan and then not Super Saiyan. It's just, for me, when I think of really interesting stories, really interesting characters, and actually really interesting stuff done in a story, I think of Namekians. I don't think of Saiyans. I'm sorry, but that's the truth for me. That's my opinion. And honestly, I wish they would do more with Piccolo. I wish they would do more for him, because he has such a difference that he doesn't always have to rely on strength, that he has actual tactics. He has actual knowledge on helping people. He's the one that taught Gohan. He's the one that pushed Gohan, even despite the fact that he's at a successful point in his life where he has a career as a anthropologist, I believe. Like, he looks at bugs. It's like he's doing a study. He's learning. He is a scholar. And still pushes him to still train, but not get rid of the scholar part. Unlike Goku, who doesn't want him doing that. Well, arguably, a lot of people would also say, with the way that he's been interpreted in Super, yeah, he doesn't like that. But in the past, it's like, yeah, I want my son to be more successful than I am. But with Piccolo, he's always been let's just say, the hidden goat to a lot of different things. He's also had some pretty cool scenes. And yes, aura farming, I know, there's those ridiculous moments where he's just animated standing still with his cape flapping in the wind. I won't lie, yeah, he does that pretty well. And I enjoy that, for not just for dramatic sake, but just like, this man sees these guys getting beat up, and he's taking like 4 or 5 minutes just to wait to fight. It's funny. Story-wise, it doesn't make any sense, but it looks cool, and I can kind of appreciate it. But I think the main problem is, for how long it took for him to be at the place that he is now is ridiculous. I think he has been treated unfairly. I think or hasn't been taken care of as a character up until now. I mean, here's the interesting part. If Gohan is going to get an upgrade to his powers, to his abilities, I guess you're going to have to make sense that his teacher's going to have that too, I guess. Now, let's just say this. If Superhero came out and we find out Piccolo doesn't get a power-up, he doesn't get anything, but still is able to fight, I'd say that movie would have still been good for him. He would have been fine without it. If he developed new techniques and still got stronger, yeah, I think he would have been great. Now, that he has access to the orange transformation, which honestly it needs a name change. I like the name of it, but Orange Piccolo is just strange, and I know it's linkly tied to Planet Namek, especially with the tree symbol on his back. I honestly would say crud. If I had to think of a better name, especially since it's linked to Namek, we can call it the Porunga transformation, because it's kind of linked to Namek, and if you notice, he gains muscle mass, height, and what is Porunga known for? Being a very much bigger dragon, having arms and a physique the size of Arnold back in the 70s, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just saying, pardon the pun, going to be saying a lot of different stuff pun-wise, and when I'm talking about sayings, it's kind of hard to not say saying. Anyway, I think it would make sense to call it a Porunga transformation or Dragon Celestial transformation, something. It has to deal with the Dragon Balls. It has to deal with Porunga or something. Maybe something of the Mechian's past. I don't know. I hope we get a lot more out of that transformation. I hope we get a lot of more moments out of that transformation. Heck, I would like to see callbacks, make it make sense, and also make Piccolo a great character again. Not just by association that he's Goku's ally, that he's his own character, but still Goku's ally, that he was able to get to this point. Now, I would also argue another thing about the orange transformation. I don't like that it was given. It was given to him. Now, mind you, I think it makes sense the way he got it, but I still don't like the fact that he was given the power. And ultimately, that's a problem with Z as well. He kept on giving these power upgrades over and over again, arguably. Now, his fusion with Kami, yeah, okay, it makes sense. He's becoming the unnamed Namekian again, becoming this character that hasn't been seen in years in the story. Great, that's cool, but it's another excuse for a power-up. It's another excuse to catch up with the Saiyans. These guys shouldn't have excuses to catch up with the Saiyans. The Saiyans should be balanced out to where people can catch up, especially the humans. Poor Yamcha. Like, he's already a laughingstock. He's already a laughingstock. And he's just got thrown under the gutter. Tien Shinhan, barely any attention in the story. Krillin, to a degree, has gotten attention, but not enough to where he's getting a power-up. He used to be technically a main character at one point. And it's crazy. He's not even supposed to be a side character. And now he's turned into this... I wouldn't even call it a shell, just I guess a blank slate. He's got personality, but it's like a blank slate for power. He's not been given an excuse to actually improve. It's just kind of sad. It really is, especially for a character like Krillin, who is so ingrained into Dragon Ball. And everybody's heard this all before. Everybody's complained about this all before. But here's the thing about Dragon Ball that I understand, and especially with Toriyama's passing, we don't know what's going to happen to his story, because this is his story. This is his baby that he's giving to somebody else. And I hope they do better for him. And especially the treatment of the series lately? Are you joking? Are you freaking kidding me? We literally, at the beginning of this year, got the start of a spin-off series. That's been great. The same spin-off series that gave us Super Saiyan 4 canonized. A canonized version of that. And you're telling me you couldn't at least make some of the characters a little bit more valid? Which they kind of did, and kind of didn't at the same time, through making them kids. It's not the greatest way of doing it. And especially excluding Gohan out of the equation doesn't help either. I have the same frustrations as y'all do with Dragon Ball. I think it's sad that we live in an era where people just don't know what to do with these characters because there's so many. Arguably, you can say the same thing about the Sonic series. There's so many characters, you don't even know what to do with them. You don't know what to do with them. And it's sad. That's the sad truth. And I would argue that's more so the production people's fault back then. Because they needed more stories. They needed more villains. That's the one problem of Dragon Ball. You need another villain. Another villain to up the ante. Another character. And I would blame Z for that. I would blame Z's storytelling for that. Because it needs another big villain. I would blame that. But I don't think it's Toriyama's fault necessarily. It's the production people. It's the people that are in charge of him that help him produce his story. That's what I would argue. The people that make the money, the people that make it, is arguably their fault. Arguably, it's their fault. Is that an opposite percent? I can't tell. We're going to find out. But hopefully I don't get pulled over because of a mic on my, excuse me, voice crack, on my hoodie. I doubt that's going to be a problem, but we're going to find out. I'm going to put on my turn signal. Hopefully he's just going to head straight, not follow me. But I doubt that's what's going to happen. I think he's just heading straight. He or she. I can't tell if it's a he or she. I just do this. Turn on my turning signal. Let them know I'm following the rules. Anyway, honestly, I mean, everybody's heard these complaints before. I'm not going to sit here and complain. And we're here to also discuss Piccolo more so. I enjoy Dragon Ball for what it is. I'm glad I got introduced to the series through Goku and Vegeta and Gohan. But what made me really stay with the series was Piccolo. What made me want to enjoy the series is Piccolo and not the Saiyans. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. I do. I mean, I like the idea of Ultra Instinct. I like the idea of Ultra Ego. I like the ideas that are being presented, but the way they present them, as everybody else has said, and I completely agree, is not great. It's not great. They're not executed right. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age. Hold on one second. What's going on here? Yeah, we need to get. I gotta go pick up my mother in a little bit. But I hope we get more for Piccolo. I hope we get more for Gohan. I hope we can have Goku and Vegeta integrated in such a way where everybody gets some time to develop, gets some things to develop. I hope we have a lot more time with the orange transformation, even the state before that. I want explanations to the story. I want things that make sense. But with the way that they're handling things, we're probably not going to get that soon, anytime soon at all. So, I mean, like, here's the thing. Japan, and here's what I'm going to compare it to, because it makes too much sense now. I'm going to compare it to the video game industry, and it's literally the same idea. Think about this. Japan holds their properties real tightly on purpose, because they have there's a national pride, I'd imagine, in making something and for everybody to enjoy, and of course, having the money given to them to spend, to use for themselves, to either put into production or not. They're not going to listen to people that don't have a job. Let's be honest. In animation, fans, whether you animate or not, they're not going to listen to us. They're not going to. And we can make all these fan stories that make sense, but they're not going to see that. And it's the same thing with Nintendo. They're not going to see that. They're going to try to constantly take things that's not theirs, keep things under wraps that are theirs, and not share it. That's the truth. That's why we have console exclusives and stuff like that. That's why we have people that tell them, hey, this idea is going to work. This idea is actually going to be good. Please consider this idea. They're not going to listen to that. Because these people have been in business for a long time. Why in the world would they be listening to a bunch of strangers on the internet talk about their favorite series like it's politics? I didn't think I'd be getting to this point talking about Piccolo, but here's the thing. We care about these characters. This is why I like these discussions, because it gets people's ideas out there. It gets me to want to discuss with others, and I hope I can do that. And we don't have to constantly berate each other for someone else's takes. We can talk to each other. And I know that's going to be hard. Matter of fact, everybody's opinion is going to matter more to them, or their own opinion is going to matter more to them than everybody else's. And I get that. I have my own opinion, but I hope it does. I hope you can consider it, not add it to yours, but consider some things. Take it, eat the hay and spit out the sticks. Consider some things. You know, we have to understand these are business people. They've been around for a long time, and they're going to have their own business ideas. They're going to have their own ideas in their own head that's going to work, especially when it comes to stories. And arguably, that's what's happening with TKO as well, over in the wrestling bit. Throughout all of history, businesses tend to not listen to people. They tend to not listen to their customers, and that's the unfortunate part of this. And so when it comes to characters like Piccolo, who probably aren't as popular in Japan or across the world, they're not going to be getting the attention that they deserve until somebody starts complaining about it more and more, to where more and more people up higher up are like, okay, they're complaining like crazy, let's just give them what they want, which I believe is why we got superhero in the first place. I mean, that's the truth. I'm glad that we got this, but it feels a little stale. It feels a little stale. That's why I didn't really want to watch superhero. It feels like a stale idea. I mean, literally what Beast Go On is just Super Saiyan 2 Gohan homage, the transformation. That's all it is, with the special beam cannon finisher. That's all it is. I like the idea of Beast Gohan and how it integrates him as a hybrid Saiyan, but it's not executed well. The design is just weird. And when it comes to Piccolo's orange transformation, and I hate going back to this, it's just anytime you think about Piccolo, anytime you think about Gohan, you go back and forth between those two transformations, because it was given, or it was already in them and they couldn't pull it out. That's how power works in Dragon Ball. Either the power was given to them, or it's not unlocked. And I feel like that's a problem. And I'm not saying we can't keep doing that, but it's got to make sense. It makes no sense. Wait, you're telling me Piccolo could have wished for this a long time ago? What the heck? Where was this at in the Cell Saga? Where was this at the dang Boo Saga? You're telling me Piccolo could have had this the whole time against Cell and could have killed Cell? You're telling me this what could have happened? Now, mind you, this is also way into the future. But it's like, if you are a person who enjoys story and wants things to make sense, Dragon Ball is not going to be that series for you. As much as we want to, as much as we want it, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Get disappointed, get mad, throw a fit at me. For us Piccolo fans aren't going to get what we want. Vegeta fans eat pretty well. Man, I'm starting to sound like JD Legend. I'm starting to sound like a white version of JD Legend, talking about agendas and nonsense. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I might as well make my own agenda piece on Dragon Ball at this point, but I'm not going to. But good Lord. I'm laughing because it's just like, it feels weird to do this, seeing myself do this. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you with this question. If you had to come up with your own story that's similar to Dragon Ball, or let's just say if you had control of the story of Dragon Ball, where would you take the character of Piccolo or your other favorite characters? Where would you take it? Where would you want to bring it to where it makes sense to you? Because honestly, everybody's got a good idea somewhere. I'm not saying people can't have ideas, but they can be turned down. So, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think should happen, how it should make sense, what stories you can tell with Piccolo, what stories you can tell with your favorite character. And let's just get a conversation started. Let's get an agenda started just for stealing ideas from freaking Mr. JD Legend himself. Shout out to the boy. I know I shouted him out last time, but man, I've been watching a lot of his stuff. Shout out to him. And I look forward to seeing more stuff about it. About Dragon Ball. I do. And let's just keep the conversation going, guys. You have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. I'm out.